Yo, what is up, everybody? Thank you for listening to me every week, every game. And you already know what this is. This is Fourth and Wine, where we drink some wine and have a good time. And also talk about your favorite sports team, the Philadelphia Eagles. So keep listening. You're checking out Fourth and Wine. All right. So, as always, we start off with our wine. So, this week we are going to be trying an Italian wine from Tuscany. So, it's a big wine region in Italy, and this is a wine called the Sangiovese wine. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. Sangiovese wine from Tuscany. This is a red wine, and I picked the red wine this week because we are playing the Commanders on Thursday. It is a short week, and you know what we are? We are out for blood. We are out for blood in the NFC East, so I figured let's do a red wine. The bottle is very simple, just a white label with a beautiful emblem, gold emblem on the front, gold writing, gorgeous, gorgeous. The name of the brand is Pietra Mirana. It is an Italian brand. The year that these grapes were harvested were in 2020. It is an elegant wine. It is a classy wine. I don't necessarily recommend drinking this while you're just chilling, watching TV. Definitely pair it with something. So I'll get into what you should pair it with in a moment, but let's just take a look. So I poured up a glass already. It is a deep red, deep red. I can't see through it too much, but let's smell it. Y'all, it smells amazing. It smells like vanilla, blackberries, smells great. And when I swirl it around, I'm kind of just trying to release the aroma in the wine, the smells, get a good sniff, good whiff of what the wine is trying to bring. But let's look at this a little bit further. So it is a deep red wine, and on the glass you can kind of see, well, some of you can see. You can see the legs, how the wine drips down around the outside of the glass. And the legs on this wine, they're pretty thick and a little slow. So I am led to believe, just based on that, and it is truly my assumption, that this will be still a sweeter wine, on the sweeter side. But this wine pairs very well with grilled meats, raviolis, different Mediterranean dishes, things like that. So while you're having this wine, you might want to go to Laser Wolf, Zahav, thank me later. But let's taste. So I do think it is pretty sweet. It is bitter, tart, dry, like many red wines can be. And it has a ton of tannins. I can feel them all over, like on my gums and on the inside of my cheeks and on my tongue. They say a good balanced wine, you can feel that after dryness on all those parts of your mouth. And I can a little. And the wine is leaving a moisture in my mouth afterwards, which sounds crazy, but it is. But it is, honestly, I think it's really good. Maybe you do want to sip this while you're just watching TV. When you're watching a game on Thursday, when you watch the Eagles and the Commanders on Thursday Night Football, pour up a glass of this. Grab a good red meat, a little steak. Maybe you're doing a little beef, some grill. I don't know. I don't know what you grill. I don't know what you do in your house on your spare time, but it would be amazing. If you ever go to Zahav or Laser Wolf, be like, yo, can I get a red wine to go with my meal? Get a Sangiovese. I sound like the girl saying cacio e pepe. But grab one of those wines, grab a glass, grab the bottle, drink, and enjoy. But all right, let's get into the real stuff. Some of the real deal, some of the real things. Child, first, let's talk about also how I've been wearing a hat for the last week because my hair isn't done and I've been doing hot yoga. Child, it is hard working out and keeping your hair done, but hopefully I will be getting my hair done this week on Tuesday. Please, please, please. I booked an appointment, so God willing, I will be there because I'm tired of walking around looking like this. I don't feel like myself. Anyway, so back to the game. So it was week 10. Eagles went to Dallas, played the Dallas Cowboys, and if you missed the game, let me tell you, we whooped Dallas's behind. The last time we went to Dallas and actually beat Dallas in their own home was in 2017. Insane. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that went on. So like overall, let's just get into the defense. The defense has remained consistent. Can it continue is the question. Last season, we were ranked bottom of the bottom. I think we were ranked 31st in the league when it came to overall defense. This year, right now, heading into week 10, the Eagles were ranked third in overall defense. Like, what is this improvement? Like, is it truly just Vic Fangio snapping? Is he bringing a new culture to the team? Is he teaching the team the fundamentals? And I think he is, because these players have tackled much better than I've seen them do last season or even at the start of this one. I think they've gotten back to the basics and the fundamentals, because if anything, Vic Fangio, he gonna take it back. He old school. He's gonna cut it down, make it base, make it simple for the players. Last season, we had a lot of new defensive players, and I think that kind of hurt us, where we struggled and the defense didn't look as great. So imagine this. You're a young kid, your first time being in the league, you come in the league, and it's a whole new team for you. Yes, the Eagles were in the Super Bowl the previous year, but you've got now a new defensive coordinator. And you're just trying to learn, you're trying to keep up, trying to get your groove, trying to figure out what's going to work best for you in this new environment, new team, new people, and you're at a different level. You're playing at a professional level now in the NFL. You playing grown men now. This is not college anymore. And college is a behemoth in itself, but the NFL is different. The guys are more experienced, they're older, they've got it under their belt, and they trying to feed their families. So we are here. And I think that's why the team didn't look so great. So defense this game held the Cowboys to 6 points, no touchdowns. The second game in a row where the defense played their tails off, okay? They held last week the Jacksonville Jaguars, I could not remember for the life of me who we played last week. They held the Jacksonville Jaguars to 0 points in the first half, and this whole game, 6. Realistically, we did beat up on a Cowboys team that was missing their starting quarterback in Dak Prescott, who was out with a hamstring injury. It is looking like, if they have not already determined, that this will be a season-ending injury for him right after he just got that check, too. Season-ending injury because he'll have to get surgery. So, honestly, this Cowboys team is done. Pack the season up, pack it up, start over. Anyway, there's just really something special about this defense this year. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell to come in as rookies to start. They are doing an amazing job. The red zone coverage in this game was amazing. Granted, Zeke fumbled the ball in the end zone. We won't get into that. But this team has shown it can finish in the red zone. They didn't allow the Cowboys into the end zone at all this game. Now, towards the end of the game, defense really put a beating on them, and then we were able to get up on the board. And the Cowboys swapped out their quarterback. They had Cooper Rush playing, which the last time we played Cooper Rush was in 2022. And that was his first loss and his career start ever. Well, we gave him his second. Cooper against the Eagles is just a no. I was at that game in 2022. When I tell you it was lit, it was lit. Okay. But the team, you could tell that Cowboys team started to panic a little bit. They swapped out Cooper Rush for Trey Lance, old 49er quarterback. Now he's with the Cowboys. He is their third string when he was a starter out in San Fran. Either way, swapped out Cooper and then let Trey Lance get off on a couple plays and then put Cooper back in. And then they swapped him out again and let, Trey Lance go back out there. It was just enjoyable to watch this team unravel, bro. Like it's amazing to watch the Cowboys fall apart, and it's amazing. I love watching their fans just be angry and talk about how many Super Bowl wins they have, how they will never have as many Super Bowl wins, blah, 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 blah. Like, let's talk about some Super Bowl wins that happened in y'all lifetime. A lot of y'all talking about it. Y'all weren't even around. Not you watching the Super Bowl on YouTube. Get over yourself. Now for the offense. I think the offense did not capitalize on all the opportunities that were presented to them in this game. Hence a fumble recovered by our defense. We didn't make anything shake there. And then Jalen had a little messy game, especially to start. He had 2 turnovers. He had a fumble. He had an interception for a touchback in the end zone. I think that was, actually, I don't know. Trayvon Diggs. It was Trayvon Diggs, child. The last person you want, making a play on your team. Anyway, the first half was just moving really slow. I felt like Jalen couldn't find his receivers, which I say all the time. He just can't find them quickly. It's just slow. He could have hit Goddard for an easy touchdown at one point, but by the time he made the throw, it was just a little too late, and that's how the interception happened. Granted, it was a great play by the defender on the Cowboys, but still, I sometimes feel like Jalen either doesn't trust himself or he wants the play to fully develop because he doesn't trust that everyone will get where they need to be by the time he lets that ball go and puts it in the spot, because he doesn't want to have another interception. Interceptions have troubled Jalen in the beginning of this season before the bye, and especially last season. So I think there's a little bit of distrust in himself and a bit from the coaching staff. I feel like they might cover him a bit and create plays a little bit differently. And sometimes, some of the times, I just need Jalen or want him to trust himself just to get the ball out quick. It is hard for a defense to stop a quarterback who can make a play quickly. This season so far, Jalen Hurts has had a passing rating of 65.3, a completion rate of 69.8%. I mean, not necessarily the best completion rate in the league by any means, but you just gotta trust yourself sometimes. Trust yourself, man. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. When you are passing the ball, I think we are. I do think we are a run the team offense, and I think that is our identity. But what I am saying is, in moments where we are 3rd and 33 and we need to pass the ball, Jalen needs to move quickly, make the decision quickly, and get rid of the ball. Just trust himself to do so. Now, this Eagles offense, y'all think we found our identity? I think we did. Now, what I will say is we have found our identity because when you get a guy like Saquon is your identity. That guy is a beast. Running the ball is who we are. We run the ball almost the best in the league. The only people and the only other team who can probably run the ball as good as us or even better are the Baltimore Ravens. And any of my friends from Baltimore, I don't want to hear it, okay? But Derrick Henry is a monster. Now, with that being said, running the ball a lot also means there's a lot of wear and tear on your guys. So it can be troubling. Like, do we fear that we'll wear Saquon down? Do we think we run it too much? Like, what is an even good amount to run the ball using Saquon? And I think the Eagles are trying to spread it out a little bit. There are moments where Saquon, he needs to go on the sideline, he'll rest. But I think they're getting Kenny Gainwell in there a little bit. He had a few touches today in this game, but we ran the ball 38 times in the game against the Cowboys today. Saquon's health can be a worry for us. The longer we go and progress through the season, we make it into the playoffs and become Super Bowl contenders. His health couldn't be an issue. Today, he stepped out of the game to fight through a forearm injury, which was probably just a temporary hurt. Guy landed on his arm, but you never know. Like, these are big guys. Everyone's moving, bodies flying everywhere. Health is key. Health is priority. Now, I'm a sip to this a little bit, okay? Because something from the offense that everyone cried about last week was Nick Sirianni. Fire Nick Sirianni. Fire him, fire him, fire him. He was being too aggressive, going for things that maybe he shouldn't have gone for. And everybody kept saying he's out here, he's playing Madden. He's a Madden gamer. He's looking at the analytics and not just taking the points when we had the opportunity to do so. But this game against the Cowboys, he was not aggressive at all. He took the points. I saw Jake Elliott out there. He kicked a few field goals. Maybe it was just one. Maybe, yeah. I got to look back at that. I for sure remember Jake Elliott kicking a field goal. He took the extra points. He didn't go for 2 at all. Now, I said on my last podcast that I do not mind Nick Sirianni being aggressive at times. I do not, especially in the Jacksonville game where it was zip in the first half. Go for 2. Do your thing, brother. But when it's 4th and 1, and, we are going to go for it, I'd go for it, even without the tush push. But the tush push has not been as successful as it has been in previous years. This year, the rate of the tush push is 76%. They only have a success rate 76% of the time. And it wasn't successful against the Jags at all. Now we was playing Dougie P, but not at all. To start in 2022, the success rate was 93% of the time. They were not stopping the tush push. But it's running a little stale. People are like catching on. People are figuring out different ways to stop it or different ways to attack it. But what y'all wanted from Nick Sirianni, y'all didn't want him to be aggressive? He wasn't. He was not aggressive. So if you really want to look at today, we beat the Cowboys, and that is beautiful. The score was 34-6. It's a great day when the Cowboys lose, and especially lose to us. The Commanders lost to the Steelers. The Giants lost to the Panthers. Like, it was a great Sunday for the Eagles. I mean, everybody in your division is losing today. It was a great day. So this puts our Philadelphia Eagles at number 1 in the NFC East. But on Thursday, we play the Washington Commanders. Now, it's crazy to even be having this conversation because when have the Commanders ever been a team you needed to worry about? When they got Dan Snyder up out of there and they started making moves in the offseason, making moves before the trade deadline. They are a contender to make the playoffs. And the Commanders games are usually a win in the bag for any team that plays them, but not this year. The Commanders said, we here and we fighting. Now, divisions are usually a fight. And our division in the NFC East is usually a fight between us and the Cowboys. But that has switched. The Cowboys season, I think the season is done. Blame Jerry, honestly. Blame Jerry Jones. He waited too long to pay Dak. He waited too long to play CD Lamb. He didn't make any moves in the offseason for real. And he made a move before the trade deadline for a guy who didn't play today. He'll probably play next week. Mingo, Dingo, Ringo. I don't care. Whatever you want to call, whatever his name is. It I don't know who boys. Like it's nothing significant. Blame Jerry for your downfall. The Giants, Brian Dable, I don't think he's a horrible coach, but that team is lost with Daniel Jones, bro. And you gave your division rival the best player on your team. You've got to be insane. You are insane because we gave you nothing in return for him. Nothing. But overall, the NFC as a whole, not even just talking about the NFC East, the NFC as a whole is not to be played with. You got the 49ers, who have always been a contender. Now, they struggled early on in the season, but that was due to a lot of injuries. But you got some of those guys back. They got their kicker back. What is his name? Jake Moody. I always want to call him Drake. Is it Drake Moody or Jake Moody? I don't know. Moody, that's his last name. Debo's, he's good. He was ill a few games. Like the guys are coming back, and the team will probably make a playoff run towards the end of the season. And Lord knows, maybe they'll make it back to another NFC championship. But I hope not. The Lions, they're 7-1. The Detroit Lions have always stunk, as long as I can remember. I'll never forget. I watched this episode of them on Hard Knocks. I was watching Hard Knocks. They were on that season, and I was like, man, I'm really rooting for the Lions. They seem like a great team. They really want it. They really want to win. They got a coach that cares about them. Yada yada yada. Their coach up there crying and everything. I'm getting emotional too. I'm like, dang, And now they winning. Now I want them to lose. Now I want them to lose. The Commanders are really playing well. They're 7-3. The Vikings are 7-2. They've been cooking. They won their first couple games. And then hell, the Rams, they had some injuries. Puka was out, Cooper Kupp, but the team is getting back. They're getting back together, and they have won their last 3 games. And the reason for the Vikings' first loss of the season was from the Rams. The Rams beat the Vikings. The NFC isn't anything to play with. And usually I feel like it's the AFC. Like the AFC is coming strong. They got great players, great quarterbacks, and Yana. But the NFC, I think an NFC team can definitely win the Super Bowl this year. Unless the Chiefs go back to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are the luckiest team on the planet. But anyway, back to us. So in the NFC East, we got a lot of competition. Yes, we are on a 5-game win streak, which feels amazing. But all of the teams that we have played since the bye have had a losing record. All of them. Who do we play? The Browns, losing record. Now their quarterback is out the season. We played Jacksonville. They suck. The Cowboys surprisingly suck this season. They usually give you some good regular season wins. We played the Bengals, who are shockingly not playing well this season. They have not been able to close out games. Last Thursday, I went to bed and the Ravens were down. It was 21-7, and I went to bed in third quarter. Woke up the next morning on Friday, and the Ravens have won the game. Like, we have played some teams that can't get the deal done. They can't close out games, and they've had a losing record. So our next stretch coming up, starting Thursday, is against the Commanders with a winning record, the Ravens, and we'll see how the Rams do. Like, that's a toss-up. So if any team we could beat, it should be the Ravens. I think we could beat all of the teams, quite honestly. But it's also possible we're going to have maybe 1 or 2 losses in the next 3 games. To talk a little bit about the Commanders coming up, on Thursday. That's going to be a tough game because it's going to be a fight. I don't think we can go bar for bar, toe for toe with the Commanders. Like, nothing about the team scares me, but Jaden Daniels is special. And you can't deny that the team has come together and they got fight in them. So, Jaden Daniels is ranked 4th with his quarterback rating in the league. And for a rookie drafted this year to come to the Commanders, he looks comfortable as hell. And the comparison is frequently made to CJ Stroud because CJ Stroud came in the league, wasn't number 1, number 2, but, similar story like Jaden Daniels, and came in not as much pressure and was able to kind of just get into a groove with his team, surprisingly. Now, Jaden can move around. He doesn't move too much, but he got some carries this season. So the Eagles don't do well when your quarterbacks move. So Jaden Daniels moving, Lamar Jackson moving, Matt Stafford moving. Like, these guys are athletic and they can present a problem over our next few games. Another thing with the Commanders that I feel like flies a little under the radar is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is the Commanders' wide receiver, and he has had 6 touchdowns so far this season. And he plays well. When we played him before, I went to the game in Landover, Maryland. I was going to say DC, but I went to the game in Landover, Maryland, and Terry McLaurin was lighting us up. Now, I do think that Slay, Quinion, they can go toe-to-toe with this guy. Whatever. But if Slay can stay healthy, because if you didn't see him today, he was hobbling around on the field. And I feel like he is seriously playing through an injury, which might make him a liability. But our DBs can handle their receivers for sure, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game. With Terry's stats aside, okay, because they're nothing like too crazy or anything to write home about, this team has a coach in Dan Quinn. He is a defensive mind. He was a defensive coordinator for the Cowboys previously, got hired as the Commanders head coach. Congrats to him, and congrats to his Commanders team, because also before the trade deadline, they signed Pro Bowler, 4-time Pro Bowler, Marshon Lattimore. And he's a corner, by the way, a cornerback that they signed from the Saints. And he's going to be a problem in moments because of what I previously talked about with this offense and Jalen not being comfortable throwing into tight coverages or being comfortable to know his receiver will make it to a spot. Because the last thing we need is Lattimore making some big plays on our wide receivers and getting the ball. Granted, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are beasts. Like, I don't think Marshon Lattimore can compete and go toe-to-toe with them. But that could be a problem with Jalen's comfortability. I know. I'm being pessimistic. I know I've watched Jalen progress a lot over the last few weeks. As the season progresses, he's getting a lot better, and it is hopeful. But the Commanders gonna make us pay for any mistakes that we might make. So I can see Jalen not being confident, hesitant, taking too long to throw, giving the ball up a bit. And the Commanders will capitalize on that because they got fight in them. The Cowboys, they gave up 5 turnovers today. And they gave us moment after moment after moment to come back on offense and score. And if we don't do that against the Commanders, we are not going to win that game. And if we don't protect the ball against the Commanders, we are not going to win that game. We had 2 fumbles. Well, we had a fumble and an interception today. Turned the ball over twice. And the Cowboys turned it over 5 times. And we weren't able to capitalize in each of those moments. And if we can't protect the ball against the Commanders, they're going to put in work. Now look, the Eagles got to play some good ball over the next couple weeks. And who would have thought I would have spent time on here talking about the Washington Commanders, but here we are. Here we are. I think we could beat them. I really do. But this team got grit and luck because their last win was pure luck. But let's wrap this up. Don't forget, check out this delicious wine. It's Pietra Merana Toscana. It is from Tuscany, Italy. It is a Sangiovese red wine, and it goes great with the Mediterranean food. So like I told you earlier, if you enjoy going to places like Laser Wolf Zahav and stuff in Philly, where they got the Mediterranean cuisine and dishes, ask them for a glass of this and eat your food. Cause I'm putting you on to something. But anyway, until next time, pour a glass of wine, have yourself a good time. Bye.